I've had so many messages and phone calls and emails and people asking, where you been? Why ain't you been on YouTube? Did you give up? So I guess it's finally time for me to get on here and tell everybody that I'm going to be leaving the mud motor world. No more mud motors for me. I started watching a lot of bass fishing YouTube videos, and I've decided that I'm going to make a career change. I'm going to turn this into a bass boat. I've already got me a brand new electric outboard. I think I'm going to start trying some avocado toast, and I've spent a lot of time doing research on how I can put a trailer hitch on a Prius. Send it. Alright, so for anyone wondering, yes, I am coming back to YouTube. I didn't mean to take a break, but I took a lot longer of a break than I originally expected. So for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I own a hydro dipping business, and that's what I did for a living. The John Boat YouTube channel was just kind of a side gig of mine. It was not really a gig, it's a hobby, and I enjoy it. About 2.5 years ago, I was given an opportunity to become one of the co-owners of the Tiny Boat Nation Southeast shop in Georgia. And when we initially opened the shop, the goal was for us just to build custom John boats for customers, do custom turf and things like that. Things ended up growing a lot faster than I expected, and I ended up having to close my hydro dipping business down so that I could move it into the same shop that the boat shop is in. And as things grew, we expanded from not just building customer boats, we became somewhat of a warehousing type hub for shipping. We ship a lot of electric outboards, lithium batteries. We started developing the electrical kits that you've probably seen over on the Tiny Boat Nation website. If you haven't seen the electrical kits that we make, I'll leave a link down below so that you can go check those out. It's a pretty cool little kit. We basically took everything that you would ever need in wiring up a boat project and just put it all into one kit, so you wouldn't have to go over here and buy wire and over here and buy connectors and go to this other place and buy, you know, like ring terminal lugs. And we put it all in one kit and made it super simple. That took off in popularity a lot more than I thought, and we ended up having to increase production, which took a lot of my time. If you've ever bought a switch panel from Tiny Boat Nation, at one point or another it was physically in my hands. We do have some staff now that helps me with packing, but as far as the actual making of the switch panels and painting them, powder coating them, and we were hydro dipping them at one point, all those were done by me. So because of all the things that we have going on in the shop, the customer boats, all the shipping stuff, having to manage employees and, you know, schedules, and there's just always something going on. We've had a lot of boat shows that we've had to go to. It's just taken all of my free time up, and I haven't had time to do hardly anything with my boat or with this YouTube channel. So with all of that being said, yes, I am coming back to YouTube. I've actually filmed quite a few videos on this boat. There's a lot of things that we've done with it, just in little bits and pieces, not all in like one video like I'm used to doing. But I've got a ton of footage together for the completion of this boat, and I'm going to be working on those coming up soon. The reason that there's this little electric outboard here on the back is I'm actually testing this one to make sure that it works before I send it back to a customer. I had to do a repair on it. Once this thing comes off, the next thing that's going on this boat is a home-built surface drive, which leads me into my next little thing that I was going to talk to you guys about. Is I am still gonna do this YouTube channel. Like, this YouTube channel is not going away, but my primary focus in the next 6 months to a year is going to be building the Tiny Boat Nation Outdoors channel. The home-built surface drive project is something that I initially asked people about over on that channel to see if it was something that people were interested in. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a long tail kit, we're going to cut and hack and weld and do a bunch of stuff to it and see if I can make a long tail out of it. Now, the actual journey and progression of that build and the process is all going to be over on the Tiny Boat Nation Outdoors channel. So if you want to follow along with that, you can do that over on that channel. But when I finally get it together, I'll do one complete montage video and put it on this channel for you guys to see. But I will try to keep most of the mud motor type stuff on this channel. I know I'm going to be doing a review on a twister style mud motor, and I'm also going to be doing a review as soon as I can get around to it on the like cheaper feather lights that Mud Skipper is selling. I'm on their Facebook group, and I've seen a ton of junk being talked about them, and that's one of the things I want to find out is this just a whole bunch of angry customers that couldn't figure out how to get it to work, because it is a really cheap surface drive, or is it really a true piece of junk? So I'm going to get one and I'm going to try it out. But as far as like upcoming videos that I've already filmed, I just got to sit down and edit. We did like a full fix-up of everything on this boat. I fixed all the leaking rivets. I finally installed some bilge pumps so I don't have to ride around with 25 gallons of water in the floor anymore. I've done a little rigging to help me get out here and do a little catfishing, because that is my favorite kind of fishing, is catfishing. So what we're out here doing tonight. Well, I had to cut the video at the lake because I don't have equipment for filming at night. It got really dark really fast. I couldn't see anything, and there was a bunch of cicadas behind me that were just constantly chirping, and I couldn't really hear anything in the video. So we're gonna finish this up here in the shop. Don't mind the giant mess. This is just a OSHA violation testing center. As one of our company mottos here is, any machine can become a smoke machine if you use it wrong enough. So back to what I was talking about with videos. So I've already filmed a bunch. I just got a lot of editing left to do, which is what takes almost more time than actually filming. We're going to get back to all of the project videos that I have, like Pocket Rocket. Kind of changed direction on that. We figured out that it cannot hold as much weight motor-wise as I thought. So we're going to go more of a really fast long tail, but it's going to be a smaller motor. I'm still going to play around with the float pods on that one, the side float pods that we did. We actually had a ton of comments about extending them up and making some angles. We hit a bunch of different things, but we're going to get back to that one. Gravedigger is still around. My casket is out in the shed by the shop, and everybody that walks by it just absolutely loses their mind. They're like, why do you own a casket? It's hilarious. I love it. So it's kind of on the back burner, but that stuff is coming. The big stuff that I'm doing now is trying to finish up my boat. So some of the big stuff I've already done is we pulled the boat off the trailer, and I completely rebuilt the entire trailer. There was a bunch of stupid mistakes I made when I built it, and at the time it sounded like a good idea, but then I figured out later on that not all of my ideas are as awesome as I think they are when I'm in the shower at 3 o'clock in the morning. And the trailer was a classic example of that. So I completely rebuilt it. I absolutely love the trailer now. That video is going to be coming out soon. I have started rigging my boat for catfishing. That's primarily what I like to do, is catfish. So I've done a bunch of things that I've never seen done on other people's boats. So we're going to be doing like a catfish rigging video just based off of what I did on my boat. I got the new Auto Boat GPS trolling motor thing where you can steer it with a remote. I'm going to be doing a review video on that, but even cooler than just doing a review video, that particular trolling motor adapter is made for like tiller style trolling motors. It's not made for bow mount trolling motors. And I figured out how to make it work on a bow mount trolling motor. And it wasn't as hard as I thought. It just took a lot of sitting around and staring at it and like, how can I figure this out and make it work? And now that I've figured it out and we got it working, we're going to do an install video, a review video, and a how to do this on a Minn Kota Edge 45 and similar style trolling motor. So that's going to be pretty cool. Not only is it a really cool product, they're coming out with a new model, and I got to be one of the test dummies for the new model. It's a lot sleeker, a little simpler to install, and it seems to be, for me, a very, very accurate. Now that stuff's already filmed and just needs to be edited. Stuff that's coming up that I haven't filmed yet that's I'm probably going to get to, I'm hoping, by the end of the year. First one is going to be a graph install on a boat with pods. I have never in my life owned a graph before. I have installed more than I have ever wanted to in this shop right here. And I have made fun of bass fishermen for years and years about spending these thousands and thousands of dollars on graphs when I'm like, I can take my stakeout pole, stick it over the side of the boat and tell you how deep it is, and I can save you like 10 grand. But Ryan was nice enough to give me one of his old graphs. I figured I might as well make use of it. I'm going to install it on my boat, and I'm going to be playing around with the positioning of the transducer, because that was one of the questions that I got a lot in some of the float pod videos I've done is, where do you put the transducer on a boat that has float pods? You can't put it right there by the outboard because of the turbulent water right there. So what do you do if you got float pods? And the popularity of the float pod videos kind of led me to, I need to install this and figure out where it works best. So it's going to be a how-to install video, but it's also going to be a test video of different places to run a transducer on a boat that has pods. So I'm looking forward to that one, because that's my thing, is I like doing things different than other people do on YouTube and trying stuff out and figuring out if it actually works. Then I got a bow fishing light video that I'm going to do. I purchased I think it was 8 or 9 cheapest LED lights that I could find on Amazon that I could run off of a generator to test them side by side and see which one gave the best results. And there's a guy that's done this in the past. He did an amazing job with his video. I cannot remember the YouTube channel off the top of my head. If I remember, I'll put it down in the description below. But the way he did his video was very scientific. He had a lux meter. He did it at different distances. He let the lights warm up, and I really like that. A few things in his video that I want to do different. I know a lot of people don't like the bright white LEDs. They like the more amber, or orangey type color, because that's the HPS, I think it's high pressure sodium, yeah, HPS lights. So I'm going to do the test kind of like he did, but I'm also going to add in the yellow and orange films to put over the lenses and see if that reduces the brightness and the lux, and also kind of give you a side-by-side look and see what it looks like, you know, just right out of the package, what it looks like with yellow and what it looks like with orange tint on it. And I'm not just doing this for the purpose of making a video so that it can get a bunch of views. I'm truly interested in what lights I should put on my boat, because my original idea for my boat was to have a removable bow fishing, basically a light bar that would go all the way around the front of the boat, and I would run it all off of batteries, either 12 or 24 volt. Once I actually got the boat built and I realized how heavy it was, I was like, I don't really want to add a whole bunch more batteries to this thing and make the front end sit lower than it already does. So I think I'm going to stick with the small generator because I already own one. I got one of the cheap Harbor Freight ones, the quiet Predator one. It is super quiet, but I could put that on the back of the boat and run a light bar kind of rail, knee rail kind of thing around the front of the boat. But I want to see which lights I want to run, so that's why I bought all the cheap ones, so I could test them out, see which ones I like best, and we'll do a whole review video on that. In other news, we have a podcast now. I never really got on this YouTube channel and told anybody about it, but me and Ryan started a podcast. I think we started about a year ago. We did a few episodes, and then we just got really busy with work and haven't been able to do anything with it, but we're starting that back up now. And we'll cover a variety of topics, all about boats and building boats and batteries and outboards and all kinds of stuff, fishing tournament. Anything and everything boats we're talking about on that podcast. We've had a few guests. It's been a lot of fun. I've never, up to this point in my life, I have never really been a big podcast person. But when YouTube started putting podcasts on the YouTube platform, I downloaded the YouTube Music app and I started listening to podcasts like on my way to work, when I'm sitting in the car rider line waiting to get my kid from school. And I'm starting to find myself, as time goes on, gravitate more and more towards listening to podcasts when I don't really have anything important to do or when I'm driving. And that's what gave me and Ryan the idea of starting the podcast about boating and tiny boating and fishing and things like that, because there's just not a lot of podcasts out there that talk about stuff other than bass fishing or other than like a certain species of fishing. There's a few catfishing podcasts. There's I think I saw like a salmon one, a striper one, there's like a crappie one. And it is on YouTube on the Tiny Boat Nation Outdoors channel in a video format. So like if you want to sit down and watch it, or you want to, play it on your phone off in the distance and put your headphones on, you can do that. But it's also available in the podcast section of YouTube as well. And it's on all the major podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all those. If it's something that you're interested in, definitely go over there and check it out. So yeah, I'm back to YouTube. That's good news for people who enjoy this channel. I actually really enjoy doing what I do. I love making YouTube videos. It's just very, very time consuming when you have a business that you got to run and it's growing, and you got to be a million places all at one time. One thing that will be changing though is I used to respond to every single comment that came into the YouTube channel. I read every single one of them, and it at minimum gave somebody a thumbs up or a like or whatever. I tried to respond back to everybody. The channel has grown to a size now to where I just physically do not have enough time to respond to everybody. What I am going to continue doing though is reading through all of the comments. Even though it does take a lot of time, I get a lot of my video ideas and things that people want to see from reading the comments. It also helps me when I do follow-up videos, like the video I'm going to do about my float pods. There's things when I'm making a video I don't think about at the time, and then somebody comments about it later, and I'm like, oh crap, I should have talked about that. So that's one thing I'm going to continue doing, is definitely reading the comments. I will try to respond when I can. Now, I'll let you guys tell me if this is something that you're interested in. I did see another YouTube channel that was doing, and it seemed to be pretty productive, but what I was thinking about doing, if you guys would like this, let me know in the comment section, is maybe once a month or so, just sit down and go over, 20 or 30 comments that I think are important and things that I should have talked about in a video, and just kind of answer them, because it's a lot easier for me to sit down and pull up my computer and run through, 20, 30, 40 comments real quick and just give a response back and make a video version of me responding to comments instead of physically sitting down and answering questions and stuff like that. So if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing, I really would like to hear your input. So leave me a comment and let me know if that's something that you would like. But even if I wanted to stop reading comments, I kind of can't, because that's where all the scooters are. Speaking of scooters, let's see what Scooter's been up to. I'm not even going to bother explaining what we're doing right now because the only people that are going to watch this video are people that are fans of the channel, and you already know what we're doing. But I don't have a dedicated scooter corner yet for the haters, so for right now we're going to be in my office with my old fishing rods that I don't use anymore as the backdrop until we come up with something more permanent. But let's get to it. Scooter commented on my electrical video. He says, please tell me that's a take beard. I'm going to assume he meant fake, not take, because I've never heard of a take beard. But no, this beard absolutely is not fake. They don't allow us to wear fake beards in my witness protection program anymore. They've completely done away with that. You got to grow a real beard now or else you can't be in the program. Just, that's how it is. And I will never understand why I get so much hate about the beard and why they think it looks fake. And whenever this comment comes up, even when it's in person, it's always from some douche canoe that doesn't have a beard. And I just want to punch him right in the face, but I don't hit women and children, so there's that. Our next scooter commented on one of my float pod videos. He said, people, don't rivet it. Do you guys see it flexing? Please weld it or bolt it and have a peace of mind. Again, everybody hates on riveted boats. I don't know why. Rivets hold so much stuff together in our society. Airplanes are held with rivets. The space shuttle's got rivets on it. AK-47's got rivets in them. The Titanic had rivets in it. And now that I think about it, that didn't go so well for the Titanic. So let's not use that as an example. Let's think of something else. But rivets are fine. It's gonna be okay. But you know what? I think I figured out what it is. I think that people just freak out about rivets because they expand, and that reminds them of their tampons. And they just can't be thinking about rivets at the same time that they're changing their tampons. So there's only one fix for that. You gotta grow a beard and get you some haterade. You'll be fine, Scooter. Our next scooter commented on the Milha plastic boat review video that I did. And Scooter says, the fan would quieter if you fixed it, JS. First off, this isn't just your average everyday scooter hating on me in the comments section. This is Kevin. This is the scooter of all scooters. Now, Scooter Kevin, let me tell you something. When you let me borrow your fan, it's really, really difficult to find a replacement belt for a fan that was made back in 1942. I did eventually get it fixed, but it just took a while. And you know what, Scooter Kevin? I actually kind of like the way that the squeak was on the fan. That little belt made that squeaking noise. It was kind of soothing. It often made me daydream. And I was just sitting around thinking about what would an entire roller coaster full of deaf people sound like. Our next scooter commented on my electrical video. He says, so you used high-grade marine wire with cheap soldering connectors. I think you would have benefited from doing a little bit of research on those solder connectors you have. Big Clive and others have shown how those are unreliable. They're basically low melt solder that doesn't flow properly with hot glue that doesn't seal properly. I know, I'm one of those people that know everything in your opinion. Okay, whatever. It's like putting racing fuel in your bicycle. What's wrong with putting racing fuel in a bicycle? That sounds amazing. I would do that on a Tuesday. So before you go running your mouth in the comments section, Scooter, I actually did do some research on those soldering connectors. I read a lot of good reviews. I read a lot of bad reviews. So I figured I would try them out and see how it works. And guess what? They worked fine for me. But I also researched languages. And did you know that there's over 7,000 languages in our world today? And out of all of those 7,000 different languages that we have, the majority of people seem to speak a load of shit, including this scooter. I don't know who this Big Clive guy is. He must be one of your cousins from Alabama, and y'all's family tree is definitely a cactus because it is full of pricks. It doesn't matter how much I test them and how good they work for me or how they don't work, whatever. These solder seal connectors have the same basic function as a butt connector or anything else. They just join two wires together. It's just like bologna. Bologna is simply just hot dog pancakes. Same thing. Our next scooter commented on my boat build video. He said, roll tide. That's like my mama always said, and I only say roll tide because they can't spell elephant. And most of the graduates from that college have to use their diploma to stick in the window of their car so they can park in handicap spots. Oh, roll tide, can't spell retard without RT. You know, they're the only college football team in the entire nation that cheers for laundry detergent. Just saying. Our next scooter commented on my electrical videos. He said, anyone else eat crayons? What he's referring to is a joke that I made in the video about a large portion of our population that are mouth breathers and probably eat crayons. You know, people that just aren't too bright. What I forgot is the delicious crayon is one of the staple foods of the U.S. Marine Corps. So when Scooter asked, does anybody else eat crayons, he brought in an entire world of people who actually eat crayons, aka Marines. So the first Scooter jumps in and he's like, there's a whole branch of the military that does that. Some of my favorite people. Another Scooter jumps in and he's like, mine's the red one. Another one said, crayons, yum yum. Another one says, black ones all day, baby. Another one said, only the red ones. And then another one just says, rah. Very, very Marine-like, this bunch of Scooters. But you know what? I can't even make fun of them because they really can't help it. I mean, that box of crayons does look almost exactly like an MRE. I get it. Speaking of Marines and crayons, did you know that Helen Keller was probably one of the most notable people in history that was completely immune to flashbang grenades? Yep. Our last Scooter wrote on my boat build video, he said, trolls LMFAO, comma, twerkers LMAO, comma, who does that forget the second co's, let's do this, man. I think it looks great. Nice job. Is your beard really glued on? LMFAO, ROG. I got no goofy friends, damn, ... bringing rights cause I can. What happened to your friend? Did he pass out in the corner? I'm old school 60 OD. My wife brought me knee pads. I told her back in the day we would never be like the insect bee. We would never be seen using knee pads. She did not get it, in all caps. Scooter, I'm assuming that's Scooter. Scooter ran out of meds and probably crashed a black helicopter, WTH, in the haters corner, ... Hey, I think it came out pretty nice there. Great job. This comment gives me so many questions. The first one that comes to mind is, if I was flying in a river full of pancakes and my dinosaur's wheels fell off, what color should my suspenders be? And of course the answer to that question is 9, because ice cream doesn't have bones. Duh.